Skyrim is still all the rage on YouTube, even after being out for over a decade, which is crazy. But then again, if Pokemon Nuzlocking has taught me anything, it's that people will still find new and creative ways of playing 20-year-old Pokemon games. The key to re-enjoying your old classic role-playing games is to find new, fresh and challenging ways to add depth and new experiences to them. Nuzlocking is a good way to do this in Pokemon. The idea of only having one life, your choices having permanent consequences, and playing the game like a survival run. My previous video has showed me that you can in fact apply this Nuzlocke rule set to games outside of Pokemon. I did a Nuzlocke survival run on Skyrim with the following rule set. Death was permanent. You cannot respawn or reload saves. If you die, you die. The difficulty must be set on legendary for maximum challenge. Enchanting as a skill was not allowed in my run at all to avoid becoming an omnipotent god. Along with not being allowed to consume potions altogether, there's too broken of a mechanic. Followers were also not allowed unless they were mandatory for a very particular quest, as they can literally just beat the game for you, especially the followers are essential NPCs. And last of all, sneak abuse was not allowed. You probably know what I'm talking about with sneak abuse in Skyrim, like the ability to do 30 times damage with daggers in sneak mode. Like, what even is this? The goal of the Nuzlocke run was simply to survive, play as far as you want into the game, and most importantly, have fun. All this added some challenge to my run, and I was doing well as a light armoured archer with two-handed as backup. Until I died to a trap which ignores all my armour rating. That was pretty dumb. But in this video, I made it even further than last time, and on top of that, I added an extra huge restriction to make this run even harder, bigger and better than the last videos. In this run, smithing and enchanting as skills are not allowed to be used in any way at all. No enchanting, no crafting, and no improving with smithing. Yup. Smithing is a huge scapegoat, allowing you to buff yourself to massive levels and craft Daedric armor, while everyone else in this game is still relying on iron gear. Well, not anymore. Also, another thing, I just hate grinding smithing. It's really tedious, and removing smithing actually just makes this a lot more fun because you can actually just play the game. This not only adds a lot of challenge by greatly nerfing your stats by removing improvements, but also adds strategy and fun roleplaying, as you're limited to what the AI has access to and have to rely on your stats to power up your character. After all, the NPCs don't actually improve their gear with smithing, so it makes sense for us to not allow it for ourselves. Now, the better gear, like ebony for example, will usually be level locked until higher level. You are greatly incentivized and rewarded for buying and finding enchanted gear. And I love how you're no longer shoehorned into using specific weapons and armor. You probably know what I mean. Like, you're using a heavy armor character and you found an awesome steel plate armor set, you know the one that I'm talking about. But because you didn't pick the advanced smithing perk on the light armor part of the tree, you can't fully upgrade this piece of heavy armor and is now irrelevant compared to Dwarven, so you basically can't use it. That was annoying. You were basically locked into steel, Dwarven, Orcish and ebony. But not anymore. Banning smithing gives you far more freedom to use whatever gear you want for your character. Another important feature this adds, in a strategy that I recommend, for you, yes you, the individual who's listening to me, is that this rule really incentivizes you to get good quest rewards to bypass lack of smithing and the need to wait for level scaled armor, actually rewarding you for doing certain challenges early on. Here's some examples that I did in my run. The Dragon Priest Mask Volkun has the same armor quality as Daedric and has better enchantments than anything stores will sell you, and you can do the quest to get it basically at any level. That's awesome. The Daedric Artifact Shield Spellbreaker, which is available pretty early on, actually has better stats than Daedric while also weighing less, while also having a built-in enchantment. Holy smokes, that is awesome. The obvious scapegoat for this challenge is the use of bound weapons and conjuration, with Mystic Binding bound swords having the same stats as Daedric swords with less weight, and the bow will have the same damage as exquisite quality Daedric with infinite Daedric arrows. Good lord, that is insane, especially early on. Though what I found is that without smithing improvements, the game's balancing actually improves. Destruction is less garbage than before, let's just say. But there is actually a way to completely break destruction later on, but you have to be like level 30 for it to work. But that will probably be a separate video on its own. One-handed dual wielding is less overpowered than before, but spoiler alert for this run, it's still by far the best way to deal damage without sneaking, which is just wild. The fact that normal quality unenchanted weapons can outdamage the cracked bound bow is wild. Before I dive into the run, I'll outline the build that I settled on. Heavy armor was specialized in, as armor in defense and survivability is more important than ever, and I desperately needed to grind the skill to make up for my lack of smithing. This means that shields and even alteration flesh spells are actually viable, as I explained in the previous video with maths and logic. In factoring damage reduction, the more reduction you have, the more you get out of each additional point of defense. This is especially important as one-handed was my main form of damage. The bound bow was used, but that was only the secondary combat method, and was more reserved for extremely dangerous threats that I had to maintain distance from. Shields were predominantly used in early and mid game, until I got all the dual wielding perks and had the armor rating to comfortably survive melee attacks. Conjuration was also used to summon Pokemon, like my favourite ice type Pokemon Avalugg, which uses the move Ice Hammer, which is super effective. The recent preferred standing stone, you know the deal, it's Breton with Lordstone. 50 armor points and 50% magic resistance is way too good to pass up, baby please. Survivability is everything, you know it. So with all the semantics established, here's what happened in the bigger and even better extra hard hardcore Skyrim Nuzlocke. Begin the run in speedrun Helgen. Not much to see here. Try to power level one-handed while here and be careful of two-handed opponents. I did lose 2 runs to the damn poisonous spiders, they are pretty annoying. Definitely make sure that Hadvar takes the brunt of their attacks. Oh yeah, I always go Imperial every single time, as they really are the correct option in my opinion. After leaving Helgen, I go 50-50 into health and magical with my level ups, till my magic is about 150, then I just go exclusively health. Survivability is everything. My first 2 perks always go into restoration, as that's too important not to get. Who'd have guessed that keeping yourself alive would be a worthwhile investment in this run. Make sure you pick up all the alchemy ingredients and especially pick up blue butterfly wings, they're super valuable. They can make magic regeneration potions which are very valuable and so worthwhile to sell. For now, get the mage stone just to grind my magic skills for now. At Ritherwood, get all the loot and sell all your potions and junk. You can go to Alvar's house, which has a bunch of freebies. Before going to Whiterun, I take out these bandits near Bleak Falls Barrow, just so I can get a full set of heavy armor. Just keep your distance and always be healed up and you should be fine against these guys. While helping out the companions kill the giant, I accidentally hit one of them and they all became hostile to me. Yikes, why does this always happen to me every run? Run away and hide, they can just demolish you if you're not careful. It doesn't affect your ability to join them later on, so just hide from them for now. Before going to Whiterun, I grind heavy armor and restoration to 20. But a crazy event happened here where a whole bandit squad just came out of nowhere and jumped me. I used the local mud crabs to fight them off, but the bandit chief was really scary, and I stupidly tried to fight her. I almost died more than once in this fight, but I was eventually able to whittle her down over a few minutes, and using the Whiterun guards to use her bow and arrow on her, which ended up actually being a complete waste of time. All I got was banded iron armor and a banded iron shield, which is fine, until you realise that Jarl Balgruuf literally gives you the better steel armor right afterwards for free, so I basically got almost literally nothing out of this. That was kind of dumb. Anyways, join the companions. This is only to get the free steel mace and to unlock Farkas as a heavy armor trainer, which is actually vital. Get my new armor and I'm now at 103 armor rating with the shield equipped. About 14% total damage reduction for now. Get Conjuration Mystic Binding in heavy armor perk, then go to do Anders Amulet quest for the extra health. I can handle the skeletons alright with decent armor and bound swords, which are really potent at this point in the game. Now alchemy is popping off and I'm already making big money. Nice. Then go grind more defensive stats. I cleared out Silent Moon's camp while training with the mud crabs. There's great loot there. What the hell, I barely started, some baboon already sent an assassin to kill me. What an epic fail for them. With all the money I made on potions, I cheesed my armor stat by just paying to win with Farkas. Grinding manually is tedious, I do that, but sometimes I would rather just pay to get levels. Keep in mind that when you're training past level 50, the cost of training becomes extremely high, so I pay my way to level 51 ASAP to be as efficient as possible. The good thing about this no smithing run is that because you're no longer constantly fixated on crafting with materials, you have way more disposable income now. Hell, my disposable income becomes so high that I actually just continue to pay for training long after level 50. Ideally, you want to quickly get to at least 60 heavy armor. That allows you to be pretty tanky without smithing. I always like to go to Hamvir's Rest near Whiterun early on, as the enemies there are decently easy to beat, and a master level chest with great loot in it. Now I go for that Lordstone, which is a staple in this challenge. With my perks, my shield and alteration spell, I already have 266 armor rating, which is awesome. Time to pillage Bleakfall's Barrow, and it was easy enough. Now I abuse Flame Atronach to beat any challenging enemies with. Don't let the spider touch you, and you'll be Gucci. With Alteration at 30, I spend 3 perks getting 10% magic resistance. It's worth it, giving me 60% overall. These Draugr kindly agreed to be my training partner and get my heavy armor stat to 40, oh baby. The boss here wasn't hard, just tedious. You really do feel like a tank that doesn't deal a lot of damage until late on. You'll be seeing this a lot. You're forced to slowly whittle down enemies, but it is the safest way to win. Better to slowly whittle them down than be a glass cannon and just die in 2 shots. Yo, big Dwarven helmet. The issue in this game is that, due to a bug, the Ancient Knowledge perk, which you will be getting, will actually weaken Dwarven equipment, so it won't be used after that. I will be using it until then though. Before continuing the main quest, make sure that you complete the Book of Love in Riften. The more magic resistance, the better. It's an easy quest to do also. It's also really convenient that if you help out Shadder in Riften, he lets you take a free horse, which is really good for going to certain places. Go to the College of Winterhold and buy the good conjuration spells, along with some restoration training. You really want Respite perk at level 40. While in Markarth I started the Molag Bal quest, but I never actually got around to finishing it. You actually do not need the Mace of Molag Bal, even though it is Daedric quality, as the enchantment isn't that useful and you cannot use it with Elemental Fury Shout. Also, you can get ebony weapons later on that deal the same damage anyways. Also, the Vigilant of Stendarr is actually pretty dangerous in a small enclosed space. It was a super tense fight, oh my. Skyrimium Avila came in clutch with a critical hit though. Before continuing with the main quest, it's time to get Ancient Knowledge again. It's too good of a perk to pass up and is desperately needed. The enemies are genuinely scary. Atronachs were needed to distract the Dwarven mechanical enemies. I can out-heal them, though they just get tedious to fight, they're just big health sponges. Oh yeah, I finally start using my archery skill with the bound bow and wow, the skill is power leveling like crazy. Be careful of the traps. In this dungeon, you do not want to be in the receiving end of them. This place wasn't so bad, just time consuming to beat everything inside. Don't take any chances with this Dwarven Centurion, use your bow. Get an awesome perk for a whopping 25% armor bonus. The best thing is, I think the bonus might actually be multiplicative of the total armor and not just of the base values like the perks are, making this a necessary strat for every run. Now I'm tanky enough to meme on the first dragon. This is why you want the bow. You can't just Oonga Boonga every enemy. Yet, anyways. By the time I beat it, I'm already at level 44 archery. Who even needs the XP standing stones or well rested? No joke, they would make you level up too quickly to the point where it actually makes your runs kind of boring. Back to Whiterun and pay my way to 51 heavy armor, and now training is 3 times more expensive than it was before. Next up is to get the Dragon Priest Mask Vokun. This is amazing on this challenge. With Daedric Helmet quality of armor, and it also is enchanted to reduce the cost by 20% for illusion, conjuration and alteration spells. The latter 2 I actually use. Just awesome. The best thing is that this is part of a quest where an essential NPC goes with you, making this pretty easy to do. Remember, I said that followers are usually not allowed, but because you have to use this follower to do this quest, it is allowed for this quest alone, making it much easier to do. She can actually beat a lot of the Draugr on her own. Then for the boss itself, just take your time and 2v1 it. Don't summon, as the Dragon Priest can actually take control of your summon to use them against you, so just spam the bound bow from a distance until you win. This is where magic resistance is incredibly important. I wouldn't have done this fight without my good magic resistance. Finally get the mask, and as you see it makes a big difference to my armor while also having an amazing enchantment on top of it. Back to the main quest, run up High Hrothgar, and this is where the Respite Restoration perk really comes in handy to save time restoring stamina and also letting you just run past everything. After that, I unlock the Sussy Solstheim quest. Oh baby. Horn of Jurgen Wingcaller quest is pretty easy, just run-of-the-mill enemies and mages that barely tickle me. Run through the enemies, and with 60 one-handed I get more damage dealing perks. Just wait until I get the dual wielding perks, then you will see me pop off. Speaking of overpowered, I found an ebony war axe in a chest here. Somehow, I'm pretty sure that ebony weapons aren't supposed to appear until you're like in your level 30s, but oh well. I guess I no longer need the bound sword. Steel plated boots too. I'll take the slight upgrade. Once again, do be careful of the spider. Poison damage is not PogChamp. The next dragon fight was a meme, and if this wasn't easy enough, I now have alteration at level 50 so I can get 20% magic resistance, putting me at the cap of 85%, meaning that I can tank almost 7 times the amount of magic attacks as normal. The Falmor NPC quest got really scary at first, fighting multiple enemies in a tight enclosed space, but I funneled them into a staircase so my frost summon can hold them up and separate them. The rest was actually pretty simple, just try to beat all the enemies one at a time. Now I've got some orcish armor, and with a shield, I'm at 390 armor rating without alteration spells, slowly starting to approach that cap. On the quest to go through Ratway, some of the enemies were surprisingly dangerous, especially the NPC with enchanted gloves, who uses unarmed attacks. It would have been pretty embarrassing for this run to end to some unarmed NPC. Carrying on, I get the Blades armor and was like, alright, until I realised that the chest piece of the Blades armor in particular has actually got slightly more armor than Ebony, which is massive. It does weigh quite a bit more, but defense is a main priority, so that's a nice upgrade. With a combination of more grinding and some training, I have the money at this point. I get to 6 days in heavy armor and get another perk, and I'm now at 450 armor rating. Wow, I'm a tanky baka. And with 60 restoration, I get the regeneration perks, giving me 50% magicka regeneration permanently. Pretty worth it. Finally, time to go to Solstheim. Keep in mind that this was my first time actually doing this DLC, which was Poggy Woggy. The first main quest was easy due to having an invincible follower just beat everything for me. Beat the lurkers, though they were really boring to fight. They just took a while for me to whittle them down. Now before continuing, I actually return to Skyrim and do some loose ends first. As I mentioned with the spiders, I will need a countermeasure to poison damage as it's very dangerous. Poison actually ignores your armor and is not a form of magic, so you need something for that. I'll need to get some resistance specifically. The only guaranteed way of doing this is with a Dragon Priest mask, setting you to the poison resist cap. This is it baby, let's go. Dual wielding perk time. Now I'm a shredder. With Elemental Fury, even the bound bow is power crept to all hell. This Dragon Priest gets dunked on, baby please. I now have a crazy amount of money. Honestly, smithing was not missed this run. It's actually hard to go back to it. get my heavy armor to level 70, and my one-handed is now level 80. Then go to do the Periite Daedric quest for Spellbreaker. Good lord, this dungeon was overkill, nothing here stood a chance, the enemies were all just glorified speed bumps, just be gone. Yo, ebony boots, nice. Hell, even the Dwarven roly-polies from earlier on are easy work now. I don't even need to use Conjuration on them anymore. Spellbreaker is the best shield in the game, stronger than Daedric and even lighter. The enchantment is also a little extra on top of that, putting me at 490 armor, almost at the damage cap. I also got some great one-handed enchantments, some fortifying one-handed, which is why my damage output was so great. I can breeze through the Solstheim quest and even get my armor up to level 80 and get the final perk, putting me at the armor cap with alteration equipped. Not even Mirak can stop me. He did put up a fight by constantly healing himself. There was one point though where he used some kind of attack, I think it might have been poison based and I didn't have the poison resist equipped and it almost melted me, but I was just able to heal myself up in time. Screw Mirak, he gets the boot. And that's the DLC concluded. Well, that was something. I guess I should finish the main quest then. Maybe do like the Civil War or something. Honestly, at this point I'm a god. I'm broken at this game. Too good. I need to get nerfed. I'm sorry, this is true. Who even needs smithing and enchanting? Only noobs, that's who. It's also a well-known fact that I've got a great sense of humour and a massive ding-dong, but that's another matter entirely and... Wait, what the f***? I just died! It happened too quickly to record, but this was Cap. Okay, basically a revered dragon jumped me out of nowhere and used a drained vitality shout on me which literally one-shotted me with pretty much nothing that I could have done. Basically, I was level 36 and it's actually very rare for a revered dragon to spawn at this point. I think usually they only spawn at like level 50 or something, so I got pretty unlikely. They're extremely dangerous because they have a drained vitality shout, which drains your health, magic and stamina for a whole 30 seconds. Once you get hit, there's nothing you can do to stop the effect, you just have to wait the 30 seconds out. The real kicker is that this shout is not affected by magic resistance, so I might as well have been butt naked and completely vulnerable to it. After running out of MP healing, I was basically marked for death as I was taking more damage than I could heal up, and without potions allowed, there was pretty much nothing I could have done. On second thought, I maybe could have used the become ethereal shouts, but this was all too fast and I've never actually fought a revered dragon before, so I've never had to actually deal with a drained vitality shout. So that was that. And now the run is over. Just like that. It felt pretty cheap and unlucky as I was doing so well blasting through the game on an even harder self-imposed challenge than before. Overall, I greatly enjoyed this challenge and it was hard at points, but removing the tedious nature of crafting makes you focus on the gameplay and actually rewarding you for getting special gear. I might attempt this challenge with destruction magic build, which will be funny. And don't worry, I will be doing Pokemon content as well. Hopefully the algorithm likes my content, seeing as the last Skyrim video did pretty well, so that's that. Leave a like and comment and subscribe for more content. New content is in the works as I'm speaking, and I will see you all next time. I love you.